meant is to be believed you are already Jean Grey in X-Men. I'm sure people have been asking you about this.
Yes.
If I'm a betting man, should I put any money on this? Where are we at, Sadie?
I mean, this is news to me.
Is it news to you?
This is news to me.
Really?
Yes.
You've never talked to a Kevin Feige or a Marvel person about this character?
No, I can't.
The Marvel fandom is losing its mind. Sadie Sink, best known for her breakout role in Stranger Things, is officially joining Spider-Man 4. And while Marvel hasn't revealed exactly who she's playing yet, the rumors are already spiraling into some of the wildest fan theories we've seen in years. Is Sadie playing Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, or something even crazier? Well, buckle up, because what we're about to break down might completely change how you see Spider-Man's next chapter. Let's start with the fact. Sadie Sink is officially locked in for Spider-Man, Brand New Day, which is set to hit theaters in 2026. That alone was enough to set the internet on fire. Marvel has been unusually secretive about this casting, refusing to reveal her role, even as production rumors continue to leak left and right. And in the world of comic book movies, when Marvel keeps things this quiet, it usually means something major is happening behind the scenes. The question is what? Now here's where things start getting spicy. Not long after the casting news broke, Hollywood insider Jeff Snyder dropped a bombshell on his podcast, The Hot Mic. Sadie Sink is reportedly playing Gwen Stacy, specifically a multiverse version of Gwen, potentially even Spider-Gwen herself. Think about that for a second. Introducing Gwen Stacy into Tom Holland's universe would open up an entirely new emotional arc. In the comics, Gwen was Peter's first love before her tragic death. But if Marvel's introducing a multiverse version like the one fans saw in Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, we're suddenly dealing with a completely different dynamic. Sadie herself hasn't exactly denied these rumors either. When asked about it, she simply called the rumors awesome while smiling and leaving fans to speculate. Basically, she poured gasoline on the already burning fire. Now, while most of the buzz has been centered around Gwen Stacy, a completely different theory is gaining serious traction, and it might actually make even more sense for where Marvel is heading. That theory? Sadie Sink could be playing none other than Mayday Parker. For those who aren't deep into the comics, Mayday Parker is Peter Parker's daughter from an alternate timeline. In that world, Peter and Mary Jane have a child, and Mayday inherits her father's powers, eventually taking up the mantle of Spider-Girl. She becomes one of the most popular alternate universe versions of Spider-Man's legacy, loved by comic fans for years, because she continues Peter's story in a way we've never seen on the big screen. And if you really break it down, this theory could fit perfectly with where the MCU is right now. For those who aren't deep into the comics, Mayday Parker is Peter Parker's daughter from an alternate timeline. In that world, Peter and Mary Jane have a child, and Mayday inherits her father's powers, eventually taking up the mantle of Spider-Girl. She becomes one of the most popular alternate universe versions of Spider-Man's legacy, loved by comic fans for years, because she continues Peter's story in a way we've never seen on the big screen. And if you really break it down, this theory could fit perfectly with where the MCU is right now. Think about it. No Way Home ended with Peter Parker completely starting over. Nobody remembers him. His entire support system is gone. What better way to explore Peter's future than to introduce a version of the family he could have had, or might still have, in another universe? Bringing in Mayday Parker adds emotional weight, allows Marvel to expand Peter's story without undoing the consequences of No Way Home, and sets the stage for the MCU's next generation of heroes. But it goes even deeper. The film's working title, Spider-Man, Brand New Day, might not be random. In the comics, Brand New Day was all about resetting Peter Parker's life. His past relationships, his marriage, his identity, all rewritten. By introducing Mayday Parker now, Marvel could be hinting at a multiverse version of that reset, where alternate timelines start bleeding into each other following the events of Secret Wars. Plus, there's the larger MCU strategy to consider. Marvel has been slowly building younger versions of its heroes. Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop as Hawkeye, Cassie Lang as Stature, all signs pointing toward a future Young Avengers lineup or multiverse team-up. Introducing Mayday Parker as Spider-Girl would fit that strategy like a glove. And casting someone like Sadie Sink for the role just makes sense. She already has a huge fan base from Stranger Things, she's the right age, and she has the acting range to bring depth to a character like Mayday, who would carry both action scenes and emotional weight. If Marvel plays this right, Mayday Parker wouldn't just be a one-off side character, she could become one of the central figures in Spider-Man's ongoing story, and potentially the entire future of the MCU's multiversal expansion. So while Gwen Stacy may be the obvious guess, Mayday Parker could actually be the smarter, longer-term move for Marvel's next phase. Now, if you thought the Gwen Stacy and Mayday Parker theories were wild enough, just wait, because the rumor mill has completely exploded, and at this point, Sadie Sink's possible role in Spider-Man 4 has become one of the most debated topics in the entire Marvel fandom. Some fans are convinced she's being brought in as Jean Grey. Yes, you heard that right, even though Jean Grey traditionally belongs to the X-Men universe. But here's where the theory picks up steam. With the multiverse cracks wide open after No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, some believe Marvel may be slowly planting seeds to bring mutants into the MCU, even before X-Men 97 fully connects. It sounds far-fetched at first, but considering how the multiverse has allowed characters like Patrick Stewart's Professor X and Kelsey Grammer's Beast to already appear, nothing seems completely off the table anymore. Could Sadie Sink be a teenage multiverse variant of Jean Grey crossing into Peter Parker's world? It's a stretch, but in today's MCU, wild stretches often end up being canon. And then there's the Mary Jane Watson speculation. Many fans have pointed out that while Zendaya plays MJ, her version of the character has always been distinct from the traditional Mary Jane Watson from the comics. That leaves the door open for Marvel to introduce the original version of Mary Jane as a completely different person, possibly even from another timeline with Sadie Sink, perfectly fitting the classic redheaded image fans associate with the character. Other theories have even thrown Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat, into the mix. Black Cat has been a long-requested character in live-action Spider-Man films, and her introduction would bring an entirely different dynamic to Peter's life, one filled with morally gray choices, romantic tension, and complex team-ups. Sink's age would skew younger than traditional portrayals, but if Marvel wants to build a new long-term franchise layer, a younger version of Black Cat isn't entirely out of the question. And it doesn't stop there. Some fans believe that Marvel could even be combining multiple characters or creating an original character inspired by several comic elements. Given the MCU's history of remixing source material, like how they altered Marvel's powers and origins, it wouldn't be surprising if Sadie's role ends up being a hybrid that pulls from multiple storylines, catching everyone off guard when the film finally drops. The theories have gotten so out of hand that fans on Reddit are even joking that Sadie Sink might be playing every female Spider-Man character at once. Memes are circulating with her photoshopped as Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, Black Cat, Spider-Woman, and even Silk all in the same image. And while it's all hilarious, it actually highlights just how much secrecy Marvel has built around this casting, and how little we truly know about the plot of Spider-Man: Brand New Day. When Marvel refuses to confirm or deny anything, it only fuels the speculation even more, and that's exactly what keeps fans hooked. At this point, every possible option is on the table, and that mystery is becoming one of Marvel's most effective marketing tools. Now let's talk about why this casting choice matters so much. Spider-Man: No Way Home left Peter Parker in a completely isolated place with nobody remembering who he is. Introducing Gwen Stacy, or Mayday Parker, gives Marvel a perfect opportunity to explore Peter's grief, loneliness, and possible new connections. Amy Pascal, one of the film's producers, even teased that Spider-Man 4 would focus heavily on Peter dealing with the consequences of his choices. Bringing in a multiverse variant could also allow Marvel to continue playing with alternate timelines without directly interfering with the sacred timeline we followed so far. So, let's break it down logically. If Sadie is playing Gwen Stacy, it gives Marvel a familiar character with deep emotional stakes. Fans already know Gwen's tragic story, and introducing her into the MCU allows for a brand new version of that narrative, especially if she's Spider-Gwen rather than the doomed version we saw in the comics. On the other hand, casting Sadie as Mayday Parker could open up even bigger possibilities. It would allow Marvel to build a new generation of heroes, potentially tying into upcoming team-up films, and lean into the multiverse reset many expect after Secret Wars. Both options make sense, but whichever direction Marvel takes, Sadie Sink's involvement is clearly meant to reshape Peter Parker's world in a major way. So here we are left with the question that has the entire internet guessing: Gwen Stacy, Mayday Parker, or someone completely unexpected. Whatever Marvel decides, Sadie Sink's casting has already achieved its goal. The theories, debates, and speculations have taken over every corner of comic book fandom. And one thing's for sure, when Spider-Man 4 finally drops, nobody's gonna want to miss how this mystery unfolds.